Hey everybody, I just wanted to make a real quick video about floating your tops. I know there's debate about whether or not floating is good, if it can be done correctly and end up with a square quilt. I believe it can. I do it all the time and my quilt's a square. So if you don't agree with floating, that's okay. But for those of you that do float or would like to try it, I just thought I would make this video to maybe give you some tips. First of all, people always ask me about this black cord. It's just shock cord. You can buy it at Home Depot by the foot. It's real cheap. These are little coat sliders that for drawstrings. Anyway, I use those to mark. This one's marking my edge. This one's marking the center. This one's not marking anything because I didn't have these lines up at the beginning of the quilt anyway. So that's what that's for. It's just attached to the machine by a little hook that you can buy at Home Depot too. Just make a knot, put it through, make a knot, and then you have this little hook so you can hook it. I also use these clamps. I don't know how people float without some kind of way to hold the quilt here, because as you quilt, the quilt will want to draw up. So this keeps it all nice and stable. I do pull my quilt tight. I know there's talk about don't keep your sandwich tight, you'll get skip stitches. Well, if you have your this bar set low enough that it sits close to the base of your machine right here, you won't end up with skip stitches. As you can see, my quilt is sitting right on the ruler plate, even with it this tight. I like to keep it nice and snug. I find when I'm quilting, the quilt doesn't shift at all. It stays together perfectly. And it also makes it where I don't have to use side clamps, because everything is so nice and snug and held together. There's no way the back can end up with pleats. So that's another advantage to doing it this way. And the main thing I did want to talk about, when you advance your quilt, be sure you use your little markers to right here for the edge. Because as you can see with this ruler, if I just kept my quilt coming down straight, what would be straight to my eye, I would be coming in over a ½ inch right here with the edge of the quilt. So as I keep advancing, the quilt would keep getting narrower and narrower across the bottom, and then I would end up with a lot of fullness in this bottom edge. So it's kind of an optical, it would look straight, won't end up straight, because your quilt is drawing up. As you quilt it, it's drawing up and getting narrower. So you have to keep it lined up with where it originally started. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to share that with y'all. Happy quilting and quilt on.